How's it going, guys? Lottie Helix here for another TF2 gameplay commentary. Decided I was going to talk about how the new skins work and also just my general thoughts on the update as it's been out for a day now. Everyone's played it, had a bit of fun. Playing as the soldier, by the way, on the new Koth map, Suijin. Don't know how to pronounce it, but it's my favourite map from the update. Real nice map. I really like the design. I'm playing as soldier because one of the contracts I completed gave me this neat rocket launcher, I guess. I thought, why not give it a try? Anyway, I noticed as I was playing, a lot of people were confused on how the skins worked, what it meant, all this sort of stuff. So I decided I was just going to make a quick video explaining how it works and the idea of the tiers and all that sort of stuff. So, as you know, when you complete your 2 contracts, you have a chance of getting an item or a case. What I've discovered so far is that no one has gotten a case yet. I'm assuming the reason because of that is Valve decided on the first week you get 2 contracts per week. On the first week, they wanted to give everyone the items so that they at least had a few skins and they didn't just get random cases. So that way everyone would have a skin and not be able to complain. I feel like next week we'll start seeing cases, people will start selling them and the keys will be used, all that sort of stuff. So far, I've seen no one with an actual case. Everyone's just been getting weapons. Anyway, there's actually only been 2 cases people have been getting weapons from, and that is the Craftsman collection. This is all I've seen. This is just based off what I've experienced from watching people, just from, seeing what people get. That's the Craftsman's collection and the Two Fort collection. I feel like the Concealed Killer and the Powerhouse collections will both be after the first week, maybe when they start dropping cases. But anyway, as you know, when you get an item, it has a grade. It usually might say civilian grade or mercenary grade or freelancer grade. Now, I only just figured out what this meant, but if you actually go to your inventory on Steam, not your TF2 inventory, your Steam inventory, then click on TF2, if you click on one of the weapons, you see it has the case, and it has every weapon in the case. You see it's got purples, dark blues, blues, and then light blues. This is the tier list that works exactly the same in CSGO, with light blues being the most common and purples being the rarest in this case. However, each tier of color is named something. I don't know all the names. I know that light blue is civilian grade and dark blue is mercenary grade. So the higher the grade, the tier, the rarer the items are and the more they're going to go for. Next up we have the actual battle damage on the skin. Don't know what to call that. But you know how it's got field tested, factory new, battle scarred, minimal wear, well worn. What that changes, if you don't know, is the actual skin design. If it's field tested, the skin will look perfect. It won't have any damage to it. It will look brand spanking new. If it is battle scarred, there'll be scratches all over it. It will have paint removed from it. That's the idea. So the more, I think it goes factory new, field tested, minimal wear, well worn, and then battle scarred. I will probably put a list up if I got that wrong. If I didn't, then there won't be a list. But that is, I'm pretty sure, the order it goes from. With field tested, factory new, sorry, I keep on getting that mixed up. With factory new being the rarest out of them all, and what will be worth the most, because people don't want to buy a damaged skin. This is how it works in CS:GO. So that's the general idea. Obviously, some skins might be worth more than others just because they look better. Judging from the cases I've seen so far, it seems sniper stuff and scout stuff seems to be going for the most, with heavy stuff and sort of being down further below. But it seems scout and sniper stuff seems to be the most expensive things that are up based on the tier list, the grade list. Anyway, then there is the stat track weapons. If you don't know what stat track is, that is practically another word for strange. However, if you go into CSGO, they don't have strange items, they have stat track items. The stat tracker being the little counter is on the actual gun and it shows how many kills you get. This is going to be exactly the same thing. Obviously, just a little parody of CSGO as this whole update sort of is. It won't be strange, it'll still count kills. It's just going to be called stat track and it will actually have a cool little counter on the side of your gun somewhere that shows how many kills you get, so you can have a visual aid of your kills. Playing some heavy now, just cause second skin, there it is, gross greeny color. Anyway, so that's what that is. Then there is also the unusuals. Now I feel like the stat track items you'll probably be only able to get them from the cases when they come out and you start unboxing them. The stat track items are rare. You have a rarer chance of getting the stat track items. I'm not exactly sure what that percentage is because the update just came out. I'm not sure if it's the same as CSGO or if it's different because it's TF2. However, then you have the unusual weapons, which will be the same as unboxing an unusual hat or a knife, as i.e. in CSGO. The unusual weapons will be the same as a skin. They'll have the same tier list, the same damage to them, factory noodle battle scarred. However, they will have an unusual effect. This will of course drastically increase the price because unusuals are cool, and then you can get stat track variations of the unusual weapons, which will be worth a ton. And I don't know how many people are going to get them, but the first person to unbox one of those is going to be a pretty happy fellow, I'll tell you what. So, that is a brief rundown on everything about the skins, and if you don't understand them, just a general knowledge of how the skins work and what to expect from them. This information I've just gathered from playing CSGO and my minimal time playing CSGO and my sort of experience with how the cases and everything work, and I'm assuming that it's going to be the same with TF2. They've set it up the same way with these new skins. Anyway, so now that that's over, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the update. There has been a lot of mixed opinions about this update. A lot of people are not sure what they... a lot of people don't think they like it because it's too much like CSGO. I just find it funny. I think the skins are cool. There are some really neat skins. It's going to screw up the market for a while though. Not that the market was already screwed up as it is. But all these new items are going to muck everything up. I'm not sure how the economy is going to work, if it's how the ref and all that stuff is going to fit in and how they're going to price it. But you know, it'll be figured out eventually. Watch as I miss this market garden. That would have been awesome if I hit that. Anyway, it'll all be figured out eventually as we go through with the update and process the update. Anyway, so I really like the update. A whole bunch of the weapon buffs I'm happy with. It really allowed me to experience some of the new classes. It's made me want to play some of the different classes just to experience the weapons. However, rip lock and load, sadly, that weapon has been pretty badly nerfed. If you don't know, instead of doing 20% extra damage to plays, it now does 20% extra damage to just buildings, which is a pretty severe nerf, I do say so myself. Not many people are going to be using the lock and load anymore. Almost running out of footage here, I'll just chuck some more on the edge. But that is the basics of that. Also they drastically, not drastically, they also nerfed probably my favorite sniper melee, and that is the bushwhacker, which I'm really disappointed about. It's making me, I die a whole bunch quicker. What they've done is they've set it so before you took 20% extra fire damage, and I didn't really care about that, but now you take 20% extra damage from everything. So I'm playing sniper, and if you've seen my recordings, you know I'm sort of a bit offensive when I'm playing sniper. If someone starts meleeing me, I'll just drop it to write it down and bushwhacker them. However, now that I take that extra 20 damage, it's making it very difficult to do that, as I am dying very instantly. Pretty much like 2 rockets, I'm dead instead of the 3. Everything's practically killing me. It's very dangerous. I don't want to give up on the bushwhacker Girardi loadout because it is a very neat loadout and I'm a huge fan of it, but I don't know. And another thing, the weapon picking up weapons, that's a really cool concept. I'm really happy about that. I reckon it's really neat. I was a bit spectacle. I can't remember the word I'm looking for here. I don't know how to English. I was a bit concerned, I'll just use that word, about how this would work, the ammo packs being dropped and not being able to pick up just the weapons off the ground. But I found the idea of swapping weapons on the fly out of nowhere really cool, really useful. By the way, if you can't figure out what button it is, for me it was H. It's usually if you play the Halloween update, when you have to do a spell, it is that button. If you go into your controls, you will see it says something like action slot button or something similar to that. Mine was H. I'll probably rebind it to one of the side buttons on my mouse. And then we of course have the new taunts. We have Conga 2.0, the Russian dancing thing, and we have the new favored spy taunt, the box trot, which everyone is using, and I reckon is a very cool taunt that I will probably get because I think it's cool and I like the Metal Gear Solid series. Very fun series, very nice plot of that series. Anyway, that's about all I can say. If you haven't played this update yet, or you're annoyed about the update, whatever, give it a shot, give it a play. If you haven't wanted to pay the $6 for the contracts because you think it's a waste of money, I would do it. because after this 3 months is up, they're not going to have any of these items anymore. They're all going to be exclusive to cases and other such things. So I would very much recommend paying the $6 for the pass, getting the coin, experiencing. The contracts aren't that hard. You just have to get a certain amount of points to a certain class, sometimes on a certain map, and then you're gifted with a case or a free weapon. And so far, right now, the majority of the weapons are selling for a decent amount. I know my minigun, even though it looks like garbage, was going for like $2-3 at one point. What's going to happen is they'll go down in price, but once the update is over and you can't get them anymore, they'll go back up in price, and quite significantly, I reckon. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This is my thoughts on the update. I like the update. I know a lot of people don't, but I really enjoyed it. I reckon it's lots of fun. Love the new Suijin map. Love Snowplow. I haven't really played much of Borneo, whatever it is, and I haven't played much of Valve's map. Can't even remember what it is. Power, whatever. Something. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. My name is Lord Helix. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and possibly subscribe if you haven't already. I would very much appreciate that. Anyway, I will see you all on the next video.